It is the one and the only Oscar Willis, and of course Ben the Bane Davis, kind of MMA media colleagues of sort in this industry, but of course very much opponents on Saturday, October the 12th, if you can believe that. Marbella, Spain, they will collide BKFC 67. And guys, I think I just got to ask first off, how in the hell did this fight come together? Because I think this one took us all by surprise.
Well, I'll take that one, Ben. Basically I was sitting there and I saw obviously Connor getting involved in BareKnuckle, and people are going to think I'm just spitting the company line here, but I do believe that BKFC is slowly becoming a genuine alternative to your UFCs, your PFLs. And I thought, well, we clearly could be on the ground floor of a sport that's about to really blow up. And I thought, I want to be a part of that. And then I was looking through the litany of media people that I could potentially want to beat up. And Ben was the one that made the most sense to me, because both, essentially, I think he and I and yourself are probably the three most traveled people in this fucking industry that there is. So I thought, okay, well, if he has a rough schedule and I have a rough schedule, that makes sense. I saw his fight against the king of the Oompa Loompa Guild at Karate Combat. I thought he did well. It looked a little scrappy like my own fight that I had a couple of years ago. So I thought, okay, there's a skill level that sort of makes sense here too. And so I reached out to him and I thought, hey, would you like to make some media history? We'll pretend that's what we're doing it for, not the bags of cash. And he agreed, and we got it done.
I love it. I love it. Well, we'll talk about the reason you accepted and why we took the matchup and how it's all came together. But first of all, I got to talk about the official announcement, right? Oscar, when it was made, the first thing you said was, everything's more fun without protection. That was a quote there on the post. Can you elaborate on what you meant by that?
Well, yeah, usually I find that any layers of safety take away the layers of risk. And I'm big into risk. If it's in a ring, if it's in a room full of people, I'm trying to take risks, and protection gets in the way of that. And I'm referring to both BareKnuckle and of course sex. And so I'm trying to do this without protection. I want to fist him raw.
I like that. Oh, well, speaking of fisting, let's get straight to the comment, Ben. You put on there, and I'm going to quote again, I'm about to fist a leprechaun. Now, of course, all of your previous fisting experience came with gloves on. This is going to be BareKnuckle. So how do you see your fisting technique changing here in this BareKnuckle matchup?
Well, JM, not all of them in the past have included gloves. Okay. But I think with this one specifically, the biggest thing I got wrong was obviously where Oscar's from. There was a bit of a misconception when I signed the dotted line that he emanated from the Emerald Island. That turns out not to be the case. So my initial comment is baseless. I kind of fucked that one up right off the get-go.
So we've got to find a leprechaun after you fight Oscar.
Which in Marbella, there's probably at least one or two.
Even I thought to myself, I was like, wow, what a good guy. He's playing the heel pretending I'm Irish. But actually, no, he thought I was Irish. Dad's Irish, mother's English, I'm a mutt.
It's in there somewhere, and I'm going to find it when I stick this right up inside you. So.
Okay, that's more than I was expecting already.
Who would have known this would have got so homoerotic so quickly? I mean, all of us, everything.
A little bit faster than I thought. All right, let's talk. Oscar, obviously you talked about your amateur MMA debut. I remember it well. I was there. You were victorious. But since then, in 2022, there's been a lot of pub talks, all right? I don't know how much training has been going on. There's been a lot of pub talks. So what made you say, hey, I want to do this again, I'm ready to get back in, and feel that you're prepared to fight BareKnuckle?
Well, so honestly, if I'm being candid, there was a lot of pub talks, and there was a lot of pub nights and a lot of pub mornings.
Right.
Like, you all ran into each other, and I thought to myself, like, man, it's not the healthiest choice of lifestyle for me, so I would have wanted to get back out there and sort of compete again.
I mean, to each their own,
Yeah, some of us are still,
that is very healthy, right?
Yeah. Some of us are still leading the way, following in your line. But so I thought, okay, well, fuck it, I'll have another fight. And then I was looking at maybe doing it for Tough Enough again. And I could just tell when I was thinking about training for MMA that I wasn't going to stay focused. I wasn't going to see it free. And then the BareKnuckle idea sort of creeped into my head. And I sort of thought, well, that's scary. Like that will make me go to the gym. That will make me train. And so that's the inspiration for why I went BareKnuckle, not MMA. But basically, I needed to do something to keep me sober for 6 weeks. And if that, was the result of needing to fight for, money, then that's so be it.
Fair enough there. All right, let's talk about, Ben, your journey, of course. It's been a bit of a journey, right? There was a broken foot in submission grappling. There was a knockout in boxing, but you stayed the course. You got the win in Karate Combat, right? Be very easy to ride off in the sunset, right? Say, I had my setbacks, I got my win. Why are you saying, I'm going to go do this again, and not only that, I'm going to do BareKnuckle this time?
It feels like an escalation. I think for me, it's been very on brand to walk it as much as I talk it, and the different disciplines I've subjected myself to has been quite entertaining, both for myself and I hope other people back home, right? So it didn't go my way the first couple times, was deeply overmatched in those two instances. Found more of my speed in June, and then again, this just felt like a natural progression. And with the opponent, I was like excellent again within the ballpark, someone I really like and really enjoy. And it's BareKnuckle, right? So I think we're playing with house money, kind of like the Gabe Silva fight. I'm like, this guy's probably gonna fucking beat my ass. So the expectation
knock you out.
is
The beating in the ass thing that might happen another time.
True,
but we'll
true,
knock
true,
you out
true.
instead.
But I think, yeah, man, it's badass. It's hardcore. It doesn't get more hardcore than BareKnuckle, and I like to display that type of vein within me from time to time.
And I'd agree with that too, right? Like even if I might go in here fancying my chances against Ben, like the fact is BareKnuckle, it's really hard to eliminate the fear that like, fuck, what if he just hits me and the first punch he hits me with, I'm like, well, I'm not doing this anymore.
Right.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
In fact, they said it's a 3-round fight. There's potential for a 4th sudden death round. And I said to them, if we reach that point, you can give Ben the win right there. I'm not fucking doing it anymore. I'll be done.
Done.
Yeah.
Let's not assume that I'm going to be really jumping at that fourth sudden death round myself.
Yeah,
man.
he was like, if you look like you can continue, I was like, we will not.
I'm guessing either of you is going to look like you can continue at that
I
point.
think
So.
at that point,
It's a mutual. Let's just see the scorecard.
That's a
fucking
tie
get
right
outta
there.
here,
I'm
man.
happy with the tie.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm glad you talked about the matchups, right? Because the men and women we all interview, right? They all say, I want the toughest matchup available. I want the stiffest. I don't believe for a second that either of you feel that way, right? So I'll start with you. What is it about Oscar's fight that you looked at and you said, I bet I can kick that dude's ass, so I'll take it.
I'm gonna shut that down. I don't know. There's such an X factor here. I think the fact that he was so grapple heavy gave me a bit of confidence, right? When I looked at that, and I thought it was last year. I didn't realize it was several years ago. So
Not several. Jeez, that's like
A pair.
18 months.
it was ancient. No, like it's so grapple heavy, and I felt like on the feet there were some instincts where I was like, all right, I should be able to exploit this. But like you mentioned, the ultimate intangible is the BareKnuckle, and that right hand that you landed on that kid that sat him down, that might kill me in a BareKnuckle context. So I think, I had already accepted the fucking fight before I even watched the tape back, you know what I mean? So I was like, I'm going to make my bed and then do the homework and see if it's a good idea or not.
By the way.
For sure, yeah.
I mean, also, you were there. I nearly got knocked out in the first round of that
You did?
fight, so he might get me.
Showed some character, though, and fought out and got the win. Now, let me ask a similar question to you, right? I mean, other than the fact of his ridiculous insistence to wear this turtleneck all the time, like, what is it about him that you said, I want to fight this dude in a bull ring in bare-knuckle fighting?
Oh, it's because he looks like Woody from Toy Story Wish to be a real boy. It's like he kind of just looks like that. I just sort of saw that and I was like, damn, that's a guy I want to scrap. No, honestly, I watched Ben hadn't even been in my mind really, and then I watched his karate combat fight against the little guy, and I'm saying that as a 5'7.5" dude. I love it. It's so good.
He was 5'2", so you're not wrong.
Yeah, and since Mark Ramundi left MMA, I can't talk shit about anyone's height. But no, when I saw that fight, right, it actually reminded me very much of my own, where it was like Ben was just walking forward, some would say recklessly, similar to me. I was rocked and I still walk forward in mine, and I just thought, I've been to bare-knuckle events, and it's basically like you put two guys in there, you turn the blender on and something happens and someone gets fucked up. And I sort of thought, well, if he marches forward like that and I march forward like I do, those first 2 minutes are going to make for captivating video footage. Now the next 4 minutes might make for a real slow affair. But I really looked at Ben and I was like, man, that looks like a fun 2-minute scrap. And then, of course, the outside stuff, like he knows how to promote himself, he knows how to build a fight. I think there was an element of as well, like there's some other people in the media who would like to be involved in this sort of thing. And I think there's a bit more hard feelings there. I wanted to do something like, this is scary. I don't need to do it against someone who's actually trying to like fucking murder me or my family after. So I'm glad it was against someone that I actually like,
I like it. All right, well, let's talk about preparing for this, okay? You, of course, work for Conor McGregor, the biggest star in combat sports. I know this is a little bit different level than maybe he competed at, but have you sought out any advice for him? Have you talked to him? Has he been able to give you anything? I know you have the amateur experience, but has a guy like Conor McGregor been able to give you any advice?
We haven't got to the advice stage yet. That will come fight week, I'm sure. We've all seen Conor ringside or cage side for some of his guys and the coaching he likes to offer from there. I don't think Mark Goddard gets to tell him to sit down in this one, so I can have as much cornering as I want. I do think he was surprised that I went this way. I think he called me a mad bastard. But yeah, no, I think he'll be pleasantly excited and find it fun, you know?
That's awesome. Meanwhile, Ben, I've been paying attention to your career. Obviously, you're working with combat sports minds like HS Tiki Taki and Yuddy Gang TV, Little Cray Cray as well. So what advice have you gotten from seasoned athletes like that in your travels?
You know, I mean, they are right there neck and neck with Connor in terms of years in the game and high-level experience. I didn't have anyone I could fucking like call up and be, you know, kind of consulting. It really was just this sounds like a good idea. Talk to my parents. They were like, "You're fucking stupid." And I was
you told your parents? I tried not to.
What was their reaction?
Funny enough, fucking Tom Aspinall told them. He told my mum, what about his bare knuckle fight? She was very upset. We're still getting.
I wouldn't let Tom Aspinall around your mom. I'm just saying.
Have you ever been? No. But yeah, like there hasn't really been anyone that I've touched base with in like a preparation context. It's more of like the reaction I get is, that's stupid and insane. And I'm like, that's kind of what I'm going for. So I think we both, like you mentioned earlier with the well-traveled, you and I both have dumb fucking schedules to try and work around to make this happen. And I think any other person would be like, oh no, I can't make time for it. I'm like, fuck it, why not?
Yeah. And I think as well, like I've got like, people go, oh, you're crazy, dude. Like he said yes to. But I think they're both crazy. And I think also maybe there's like, we get off on that a little bit. Maybe not that phrase.
Whoa!
I think both Ben and I are not scared of the reputation of being wild guys. So I think there's an element of that. And honestly, like, look, fuck, we're doing this for a bit of respect from our peers and stuff. Not many are going to get in there and fucking do bare knuckle me and him up. So I think we deserve a bit of credit for that.
Well, you touched on it, right? You said like some other people might want to be involved. I think when the UFC came out with like the BMF title, right? We thought it was one and done. Now that's all changed. When BKFC announced this, right? They announced it as the pound for pound baddest media member. So is this one and done? Like, this is just a one-time only title, or do you fancy yourself trying to defend this? If it's not a belt, just a reputational title.
Well, look, listen, I don't want to confirm or deny there could be a baddest media fella BMF belt on the title here, but I can assure you this: if I win that on October 12th, I will retire on the spot, and not one of these motherfuckers are going to fight me for it ever again. I don't care if it's Casey, I don't care if it's Sean, not one will get to touch it.
You know, there's some boxers that when they have contracts, they have a rematch clause baked in there, right? So one of the provisions for us is an 8-fight contract clause. So we're going to be doing this until at least 2032.
It goes back and forth. Yeah, we swap it.
It's just back and forth. I love it. It's serious. All right, well, listen, Oscar, you've obviously kicked off the build-up to this thing with some pretty fun little social media jibes and chants and videos. It's been good to see, but ultimately this thing gets done in the ring, right? So, man, how do you see this thing going down on October 12th?
Yeah, no, with all due respect, he's got a very big head. And I think, like a human Pez dispenser, I could be popping that thing back, bop, 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 all night long. No, but I think bare knuckle, we start pretty much as close as this. I'm going to take one step back. I'm going to throw that fucking big right down the middle. It's going to land straight on his chin. And we're looking at a one-punch knockout.
Wow. Well, man, I'll give you the...
And if I don't, my hand is shattered. I'll walk away right over there.
Well, one-punch injury TKO.
Okay, you win.
Back it
No, I don't think so.
Well, I'll give you the final word. What do you think? I mean, how do you see this thing play? Obviously, good spirits, good nature, but obviously I know the competitive desire that's within you. So when you play this thing out, how do you see yourself getting this thing done October 12th?
I'm not flying across the world to lose, and certainly not get knocked out with the first punch. So when he telegraphs this big right hand, I'm shooting for a double leg. I will drive him through the ropes into the commentating table. It's a bullfighting ring. You didn't think I'd shoot?
Ben heard the word bull signed up on the fucking spot.
Thought it said bear, and I was like, hold on a second. No, I think that it's going to be, again, like a war of attrition. I think round one is going to be very exciting, and it's going to be very hard. Who the fuck knows if either of us make it out of it? But I think rounds 2 and 3 is really where I'll be able to get my work in. I displayed with the Karate Combat fight that my cardio is a lot better than people give me credit for, and I think I'll prove
brother,
it again.
I don't know. I thought you looked pretty tired in that second round.
At the end of it.
Now, listen, I was pretty tired in mine too, but let's not try and pretend we're kings of cardio here. Certainly, we can ask many of our former partners and they'll guarantee that. I think this is going to be a... Oh, geez, it really went sexual. Like, we're going to blow our wads very early here.
Yes, it's going to turn into a clinch fest for 3 rounds. You're going to hate that you bought this pay-per-view. No.
BKFC, October 12th.
Well, listen, guys, it's a fight that I don't think anybody saw coming, but a fight that I think may have been inevitable given the path that you guys are on, and one that, listen, I think people might be surprised it's not the main event. I know there's a lot of people that are going to be looking real forward.
I know Ben's pissed. We're not.
It's not the main event yet. There might be some conversations that we have to have about the order of things, but...
Listen, I don't think Ben and I are fucking going to Spain to kill each other in an empty Coliseum.
Yeah, for
I want
9
that thing
fucking
full.
people.
I want that
No.
thing full, and if Conor does that at the end, so be it. But I want to fucking be there in front of a crowd. And that's actually one thing he has an advantage of, right? My fight was at a circuit here in Las Vegas. There was a few people. He's fought on misfits. He's fought on bigger crowds than I have. And actually, that's one thing I thought to myself. I was like, damn, is that going to affect me more than it would him?
Is he building excuses already?
I think so. I think there's. I respect that you're already backing out of this.
Listen, I'm just trying to fucking set the way so I can overcome the odds and be the true underdog that I am here.
That was my concern in June with the Karate Combat fight. Now, the Misfits fight is such a weird exception because, again, we all knew what was going to happen. But the June one, I was like, I should win this. Like, this is one where the roles are reversed and I have to beat this fucking kid up. And crowd,
he was like a kid.
He was 15. No, he was way older. But I didn't, because I knew the guy and had a good relationship.
It's not the first time he's had to fit the man page before.
I swear he's older.
All right.
Here's both were racing for the people.
Yeah, who knows? We're gonna make it to October 12th. The police might have something to say. I was like, I'm gonna treat it like a hard spar. That's how I'm gonna treat this. I'm gonna go at it, but like you said, I'm not trying to take your head off. I don't think.
Oh man. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, I think like I've done a couple of rounds sparring for already, and. Dude, fuck, if he bends his head at the wrong time and you hit the top of his head, that's my fucking hand shattered. It's going to be real hard to like make graphics for the MacLife with a fucked up hand, but I'll find a way.
But you'll find a way.
Dude, well, I have an event on the 19th for Misfits. We've got a pay-per-view in Miami.
Dude, PFL's in Saudi. I can't even drink in Saudi. They want me to do 6 weeks sober, then fly to Saudi.
And then immediately go back to,
this?
with whatever injuries we accumulate.
Wait, so you got Misfits? You got to go do
I didn't know. After we, again, like we've been working on this for, I think, a month and a half, 2 months. Get it signed, get it announced. They hit me up, they're like, dude, we've got a show October 19th. What do you think? And I was like,
right, chicks dig scars.
That's
you
true,
look great.
yeah. I don't think my director or producers dig them as much.
Do a Marab and fucking hack it off with some garden shit. Dude.
Great.
I love it. Well, you can see, guys, it's going to be a good-natured build-up, but I think once you guys go in there, we're looking forward to you guys throwing down. So Saturday, October the 12th, BKFC app, Marbella, Spain. We're looking forward to it, right? It's the one and only Oscar Willis, been the Bane Davis. Hopefully it's not as hot in Marbella as it is in this gym.
God damn, brother.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah.